History is being made as millions of Americans on the edge of their seats waiting for the moon to blot out the sun.
The first total solar eclipse coast to coast in 99 years. And we have our teams out across the country to bring you every angle, including Storm Teammates Ellen Baca.
It's one of those things that you just can never forget.
Dave DeBrine is about as close to an eclipse junkie as it gets.
This will be, if successful, number 6 out of 7 attempts.
Armed with charts, maps, and totality tracks.
We've got Fairmont bullseyed and have for about 8 months now.
Dave is now leading the way for this group from Grand Rapids.
Now it's 80 when you add in all the children and the grandchildren and the neighbors and the friends. A wonderful, wonderful, eclectic group of friends and family that is planning to observe near a little town called Fairmont, Nebraska.
Included in the mix, a good friend.
And I also remember very vividly a remarkable experience that I had on a shipboard in 1973. And one of the people who was with me was Mark Boyd.
Dave was probably, 30 years old. I was probably 20. And, I think he was a great mentor for a lot of the Junior Astronomy Club members in Grand Rapids.
The eclipse they saw on that cruise ship was a full 7 minutes long.
We later went to Dakar, Senegal, and the Canary Islands off the coast of Africa to see the longest solar eclipse of the 20th century.
It's coming at 1,700 miles an hour, so it's just racing. And then suddenly it envelops you, and as it does, that last little sliver of sunlight, bright sunlight, disappears, and suddenly you're in this semi-darkness in a surreal experience.
At that moment of totality, the sunshine is switched off. The entire landscape is dropped into darkness, all except for about 10 to 15 degrees around the horizon. That stays in permanent twilight. Above you, dark enough for the stars to be revealed in the sky.
It's going to be a fun thing to work through.
And they all happen very fast, and they do not last very long.
You're going to experience the eclipse, even if we don't see it in perfect clarity.
That's why it's always wonderful to share a total eclipse with others, because you can get that sort of feeling that will go through the whole group as they stand under the shadow of the moon and witness all of these just wonderful transformations.
Whether the weather allows for a complete solar experience is still up in the air, but the trip to try and see the great American solar eclipse will last.
People still cherish the experience. It's still a great vacation, and I think just the likes of this trip are the similar things.
It's one of those things that you just can never forget.
Reporting in Nebraska, Ellen Baca, 24-Hour News 8.
And that's where we find Storm Teammates Ellen Baca right now, awake, making that trip right now. Ellen is running into the same problem we have here in West Michigan.
The weather. Good morning, Ellen.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
We're good. How about you? You probably weren't expecting to have to keep driving this morning.
Yeah, the best thing about a 7-hour drive is when you can do it after a 10-hour drive. Feels really great.
You made that decision for an important reason, though.
Absolutely. So, we came all this way to see the great American solar eclipse. And when we were looking last night and even this morning, it's looking like about 60% cloud cover for Fairmont, Nebraska. So some of our group are actually staying in Fairmont, and they're going to go ahead and chance it. But others took off, already headed over to Wyoming, and we got about 3 hours of sleep before we packed up and decided we're going to be doing the same. So we're actually headed to right on the Wyoming-Nebraska state line, and it's going to be Agate Fossil National Park. So we're going to be camping out there in the line of totality and trying to see what we can see, because it's a lot better conditions there, looking like it's going to be trending mostly sunny instead of mostly cloudy.
Yeah,
that's what we want.
What does the forecast look like there, Ellen? You say 60% in Fairmont. What's Agate, Nebraska?
I think it's going to be closer to about 24%. So I've been looking at all sorts of the forecast models, also looking at just satellite and watching where that cloud cover is headed. We've got a lot better chance the farther to Wyoming we get. So off west we go. It's like storm chasing in reverse. Where you're headed to where the storms aren't.
That's Ellen Baca driving across the country for us this morning, trying to get the best view of this total solar eclipse. So we'll be checking in with her. You should really follow her on Twitter and see some of the stuff that she's been posting. But thank you for being with us early this morning on your drive, Ellen.